Ah, yes. TC2, a chaotic game where barely anyone communicates, and like, honestly, can you blame them? Pressing X3 to call out a sentry, or X6 to request one, and like, even if you did, most of the time no one hears you or cares. Like, why bother, right? And look, I love communication, whether it's in game and TC2 or, I don't know, real life. And look, with TC2's Halloween update around the corner, that's why I'm here today, to improve TC2's communications and voice command. Let's do this. So, before we get into what I'd change or add, we'll start with the current issues. TC2's voice commands follow TF2's preset. You pressed Z, C, and X and it brings up a little list of voice commands. And yeah, it works, but it's outdated and slow. I mean, having to reach over and press a number like 7 or 9 in the middle of a gunfight is kinda inconvenient, unless you're like good at the game. And most of the time it slows you down. Half of the time it's easier to just not say anything. And on top of that, the command list can be kinda intimidating for new players. And not only that, but the voice commands themselves are hard to remember. I mean, at least for me. If you never played TF2 or TC2, seeing all those options on the voice commands look kinda complicated, even if it isn't. So my fix? We ditch the list. No more key combos or anything like that. We'll make it simple. And quick. And that leads us to the next section. Here's what I'm doing. The voice command list is now a wheel. Instead of pressing a button and then breaking your other set of fingers pressing the other button, you will just have to press a single button, then click your mouse in that direction, and boom, just said something. Not only is it easier to use, but it's way more easier to remember and natural to use. But before we get into more, let's get into the next section. TC2's voice commands work, but we need more. And when I say more, I don't mean random or unnecessary stuff. I'm talking about voice commands that honestly should have been in the game from day one, or at least later on. These lines fill real gaps in TC2's communication. So here are these commands that I think will absolutely help out in TC2's communication gaps. We all know how annoying Marksman is, and be honest, this should have been in the game from the start. Now I know some of you old TC2 vets or smartasses might be like, Wayne, what about that obvious laser when the marksman is aiming? Yeah. Now see, even if my marksman here, Ricardo, didn't hit his laser, most of the time before you notice the marksman is aiming, you're already dead. It's useful to be able to call out an enemy marksman, and it's just be a nice feature.
Get down, marksman ahead!
You're not a true TC2 player if you haven't walked on spawn and got instantly blown to bits by Annihilator Sticky Trap. In TC2, you can't really warn your teammates against these other than if you type it out. So I think this would be a good solution.
I see a sticky trap.
So this one's pretty simple. Like, come on, TC2 is a chaotic game. We all have those moments where we did something and feel guilty, so I think a simple sorry would work.
Yeah, my bad.
I mean, this one is pretty self-explanatory if you don't want your team to run into a meat grinder.
Go back!
So I think it's a need. So this one is actually like a completely new voice command that I think should be in the voice line wheel. You pretty much use it if you want your teammate to play as a specific class. It's really useful. So I showed you guys how to activate and use these voice lines in the last section, and even if it's easier to communicate and quicker to use these voice lines, the voice lines are still probably going to be too quiet over loud gunshots and stuff. So my fix? A pinging system. Now, hear me out. If the voice line wheel wasn't controversial enough, I know this one is, but listen to me. I know some of you might say it's too mainstream or not TF2-ish, but come on, be real. If TF2 was a more modern game, it would probably have a ping system too. And listen, it's super useful for communicating. These pings could really help your team do more organized attacks or defenses. So, like, hear me out. How does this work? Easy. You press X to pull up the voice line wheel like before, you hover to your voice command of choice and you click it. And if that's too slow for you, here's quick pinging. If you press X without selecting a voice command, you'll automatically say go, go, go.
Keep moving, damn it!
Now, if you press X on an enemy, right here, you'll say incoming automatically.
Hostiles on the way! Troops Incoming!
but you get the point. See, if I ping an enemy sentry, I will actually call it out.
Careful, sentry gun ahead. Careful, sentry gun ahead. Sentry gun up ahead.
So honestly, I like what it did so far, and I can understand if some people don't like it. I mean, it's a big change, and it's controversial. It's inspired off how newer games do their voice line systems, and I get it. It's something new, and it can genuinely make communication in matches way better. And overall, in my opinion, it's way better than what we have now. But of course, there are things that can get tricky, which is pinging, for example. It's really useful for team communication, but on the downside, in a 12-player team, which is TC2'S max team limit, if you don't know, people might spam pings, and it can get pretty chaotic and annoying really fast. So even though, from my point of view, this is really useful for team communication and a lot of things, there are some griefers out there. And, yeah. That was how I hopefully improved TC2'S voice commands, and feel free to tell me what you think about this idea and what you would personally change. I love reading your comments, and, well, I'm going now. Wayne the Rocket Rain, out.